Mm? Cool. Okay. All right. I'd like to now introduce our speaker today. It is my cousin Diane, and I've known her whole life. And recently, well, 5 years ago, she moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado. And she had been on a spiritual path, and it bloomed, it growed, she grew, and it was just, the conversations we had were amazing. She went through her own cancer battle then, and her sister Patty and I flew out to help her with that. And it was just, she's such an amazing spiritual person now. And I am so proud of her and everything she's accomplished. She's now back in Michigan and on a continued journey. And I would love to introduce my cousin Diane Salkovich.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I think you can still see my face, but I'm putting a piece of paper in front of me speaking this sermon. So I don't want to watch myself, but it does look like I have a few strays out of it. Anyway, good morning, friends. I'm supposed to be there. So in place of that, here's the hugs I'm giving everybody until the next time I see them. And as Lisa stole a little bit of my thunder, just a little bit. I am in Kentucky with my sister. My love language is giving and food. Who cannot love food as a love language? Anyway, I'm here helping her with whatever she needs to have done. It was a very sudden and a very unexpected death of her husband. She's very broken up. It's a learning experience for me as well to be this close to someone who I've not experienced that type of love in my life, but to see this and to experience it and help her through and just be there for her is a wonderful thing. So good morning. As you know, my sermon, if you didn't already figure that out, is about death. There are few subjects that stir the human heart more deeply than death. Death is the great mystery that every soul must one day face. And as Lisa mentioned, in the past 8 years, I think, 8 years, I have had 3 brushes with death, possibly more, but I'm not counting the little bits things. 2 with vehicles and 1 with cancer. 1 was a semi, and then I had cancer, and then if you didn't hear about it, a Rivian truck crashed through the King Super grocery store at 19th in Uinta, and I was in the checkout lane. It was barreling towards. It catapulted me off my feet. I have some residual issues going on, but very, very happy to be alive. And I keep thinking, boy, that's a lot of brushes. Am I done yet? But we learn as we grow, so to speak. I do want to share with you, and I know I haven't started my sermon, but I do want to share with you something that happened when I read about my cancer. My cancer, the report came out on Friday. I read it on Saturday. Obviously, a medical report is a medical report, so I immediately, brain started going crazy and started clickety-clicking. And so the brain churn kicked in, and I thought, what the heck is happening? So within the report was the note that I had clear cell cancer cells present, and clear cell has a survival rate of about 15%. So I'm reading this on my own. I did have a couple conversations that weekend, but mostly I was just processing. Between one room and another, I happened to be putting something away, picking something up, I don't know. This feeling with the cancer and death, because death is one of those things that you can't help but think about when you're reading a report that there's a 15% survival rate, you know, all the seriousness that comes with what's going to happen at the end of my life. Between rooms, I was just stuck I was gobsmacked. All of a sudden, this feeling came over me that was joyous, it was rapturous, it was all encompassing, it was warm, it was peaceful. It was such it was such a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And I couldn't help but think, is this how I will approach death? With this beautiful, lovely weightlessness that was going on with me. And I thought, well, gosh, if that's the way it's going to go, I'm super happy because that sure felt good. It went away, of course. And but it was almost like I was like in a pool of like warm gelatin that was buoyant, engulfing. It just wrapped itself around me from my head and my brain all the way to my toes. It was just beautiful. I should be yelling about this lovely, lovely experience I had, but I can only talk about it with reverency. I'm very blessed, and I strive every day towards that end goal, so to speak, right? Whatever that end goal is. Anyway, back to my subject, which is death. In spiritualism, we are invited to look upon death not as an ending, but as a transition, a doorway through which every soul passes into a broader expression of life. Nature teaches us this continually. The caterpillar disappears into the chrysalis, only to emerge as a butterfly. Autumn leaves fall, yet spring returns with fresh growth. The sun sets each evening, only to rise again. Throughout creation, endings become beginnings. And why should the soul be any different? Our loved ones may leave the physical body behind us, but they do not cease to exist. Thank you, Marty. Their personalities, their memories, their capacity to love, and their individuality continue in the spirit world. While we no longer see them with our physical eyes, many have experienced moments when they felt the unmistakable presence of someone they loved. A dream that brought peace, an unexpected fragrance, a meaningful coincidence, or even an inner certainty that love has reached across the veil. Spiritualism teaches that these experiences need not be dismissed. They remind us that love transcends physical separation. But the message of spirituality is not simply you survive death. Its greater message is, how shall you live before death? If life continues, then every act of kindness matters. Every word spoken in compassion echoes into eternity. And every opportunity to forgive becomes a step in the soul's unfolding journey with yourself, with your family, friends, even strangers. The spirit world is not a reward handed to the perfect, nor a punishment reserved for the imperfect. It is a continuation of growth. We carry with us the character we have built here. We do not become wise simply because we have died. Wisdom is cultivated by how we live. And that realization should not frighten us, it should encourage us. Yourself, family, friends, strangers, neighbors, all of that matters. Every day offers another chance to become more loving, more patient, more generous, and more understanding. And every challenge becomes an opportunity for spiritual growth. Yay! Well, 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 that, pardon me, I got a nose. While death visits, pardon me, our families, grief is natural. Jesus wept at the tomb of Lazarus. Lazarus. Tears are not signs of weak faith. They are expressions of love. And we grieve because relationships matter. Yet, even in grief, hope remains. The bond between souls cannot be severed by death. Love is stronger than the grave, and those who have passed before us continue their own journey, just as we continue ours. We remain connected, not always by spoken words, but by affection, memory, and spirit. One day, each of us will make the same journey. If we have lived honestly, loved deeply, and sought truth with humble hearts, we need not fear that moment. Death will not be an enemy, but a familiar guide leading us into a wider world. Yes. Imagine laying down a heavy coat after a long winter's walk. The traveler is not lost because the coat has been removed. The traveler simply continues the journey unburdened. So it is with the soul. Our physical bodies serve us faithfully during earthly life, but they are not our true identity. The soul is the enduring reality. And as spiritualists, we have therefore a sacred responsibility to comfort the grieving, to celebrate life rather than fear death. Above all, we live in such a way that whenever our own transition comes, we may step through that doorway with gratitude rather than regret. Let us leave today remembering these simple truths. Death changes our address, but it does not erase our existence. Love continues, learning continues, and life continues. And may that knowledge fill our hearts with courage, soften our grief with hope, and inspire us to make every day an expression of the eternal soul that each of us truly is. Amen. Thank you for letting me share. And I have one last confirmation that happened this morning as I was practicing my sermon, and I happened to be at the end of the hallway, which is about 25 to 30 feet down that way. And to the right here, right next to the door going into the garage, is the garbage container, but it has a sensor. So you have to press your hand over the sensor for it to open. And I was down there thinking about my sermon when all of a sudden the garbage can lid raised and there's no one else here. It was fantastic. And I say, thank you very much, Marty, and all the other entities and spirits that are here. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for letting me share, Reverend Lisa and all.